based locally in Chicago. This is our second time here at Ohio State University. So I think you guys are going to find this workshop to be pretty beneficial. How many people do a lot of reading on the computer? Okay. All right, we'll actually address this at the end of the workshop. After we do these drills and exercises, we'll address this. I'll actually show you a nice little application I think you're going to find very, very helpful. We've got a lot of great feedback from the past students that came to earlier workshops about it. But the way we're going to start today, let me kind of recap. We're going to find out what your reading speed is. After that, we're going to talk about why you read the way you do, and then we're going to get right into the drills and exercises so everyone can make some kind of an improvement today. Okay? So I'm going to start out, we're going to pass out just an article. If you could take one and just kind of pass it around. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to time you for a minute of reading. Okay? Now, I don't want you to try and impress me or the person sitting next to you with your fast reading skills. Okay? Read it at your regular rate for good comprehension. Don't go faster than you normally would. Don't go slower than you normally would. Just for good comprehension. I'll stop you after a minute, and then you'll draw a line wherever you stopped. Okay? All right, go ahead and begin reading. All right, stop. Draw yourself a line wherever you stopped. Draw yourself a line, and I want you to count the number of lines you just read. Count the number of lines you just read. Multiply that number by 10. And put that number on the back of your survey card, top right-hand corner. Number of lines you read times 10. Okay, so if you read 19 lines, and the reason why we're multiplying by 10, there's approximately 10 words per line in this material. So this will give you a words per minute score. If we wanted to be completely precise, we can just count every single word. We're not going to do that every time we measure our speed. This will give you a pretty good approximation. Okay? Now, whenever we do this, and I see it here today, people start looking around. You want to see where you are, okay? And if you don't know the person next to you, how do you look at their score? You kind of lean back and you look like this. Right? And some people I notice cover their scores. Okay, I remember when I did this, I was 190, and the person next to me was about 240, and I'm like embarrassed that I'm so slow. And then I look at the other person next to me, and they're like 130. So I was like, at least I'm better than this person, right? So we want to see where we stand. What are the averages? The average person reads 150 to 250 words a minute. Okay? This is the average reading range. Now, do you know what it was 30 years ago? This average reading range 30 years ago was 250 to 350. That kind of sucks, right? I mean, for most of us college students here, our parents on average were reading faster than us. Okay, and this is a problem because we obviously have a lot more to read than ever before. And the point of this workshop is not to speculate on why that is, but the rates have gone down. Okay? Now, anyone in here that's taken a stats class knows that averages have to be explained. So let me explain this average here. First of all, this average is based on average level material. Okay? This is based on average level material, meaning if we were to read something, let's say, a lot more technical, what's going to happen to your speed? It's going to drop. What if we were reading something really, really simple? It's going to be a little faster. So if you read this article at, let's say, 200 words a minute, maybe you read really easy material at 300, okay? Or maybe you read hard material, let's say advanced physics. You might read that at 100 words a minute. So when somebody asks you or me, what is your reading speed, you don't have one reading speed. Everyone in here has a reading range, okay? The goal of a program like this is to boost your entire reading range. It's not to get you going 1,000 words a minute through Shakespeare. Okay? That's not going to happen, unless you're familiar with Shakespearean language, which most of us aren't. And it's not going to get you going 1,000 words a minute through something very technical, like physics or engineering, biology, or various other majors where you have really technical material. But if you read biology or something technical at 100 words a minute, it is possible to get to 200, 300, 400 words a minute, but it takes a little bit of work. Okay? So this average is based on average level material, and this would be considered average level material. Also, this average is based on only 1 minute of reading. Okay, whenever they do these averages, it's based on 1 minute of reading. Does anybody in here read in 1 minute spurts? No, some of you maybe, unless your concentration is very choppy, right? For the most part, we try to read for an extended period of time, right? 10 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour or more. We read for an extended period of time. What do you think happens to your average or these averages when you increase the amount of time? They drop. They drop big time. So the averages, realistically, these averages are a little lower. Okay? Maybe a lot lower. So it's based on average level material. The rates used to be a lot higher 30 years ago. Okay? On top of it, it's only based on 1 minute of reading. But here's the really disappointing part. They find the average reader after the age of 12 doesn't make an improvement in their reading speed. This is another thing that sucks. Right? I mean, it seems almost a little ridiculous to say that you haven't made much of an improvement in your speed after the age of 12, but this is what they find. It's almost like we hit a ceiling on our speed. So the way you're reading right now, the speed, is around the same where you were 12, 13, 14 years old. And I'll give you a good example. A few months ago, we did this workshop at DePaul University, and we had a professor come in, and he was reading 210 words a minute. Anybody reading faster than 210? Okay, so, all right, so if you think about this, you're reading faster than a professor who has a PhD and has probably read a lot more books than anyone in this room. Why is it that you're reading faster than... You would think someone that's so well read would be reading at 400, 500, 600 words a minute, but it's not the case. For the most part, they're kind of stuck in this range. Okay? None of you want to be stuck